The reason why some things are so difficult for us to talk about is because we're not wrestling with them. Let me say that again. The reason why some things are so difficult for us to present ourselves as true is because we're not wrestling with them in here. We're hiding them. And we're covering them up until... Don't let your mind automatically go to sin. That's all people think about when they start thinking about cover up in the church. I mean dealing with the real stuff of who we are. And until we really wrestle with who we are, we have a difficult time laying it out there and being of benefit to others. I've noticed until I really wrestle with some things theologically, I would always shy off from the confrontations about them. Even in Q&A, somebody go, hey, what about this? If I hadn't wrestled it out in me, there was nearly no way I could approach that in them. And I would remember there's many times even when I would try, but I hadn't wrestled with the finer points of it and could get really caught up, could get hung up, or even be less than honest about my answer because I didn't want them to think something of me. And only when you really wrestle those things out do you finally get to the place where you go, this is the truth. This is my answer. This is what it is. And I'm willing to stand by it. Why? Because I've already done the tough work in here to put that out there. And as we begin to do that process, we begin to walk in this, we begin to find a peace that's accepting that version of ourselves. Look at 26. The man says to him, let me go because the day breaks. He said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. The parts of you that you're struggling with are going to scream for you to let go. And you can. And you can ignore them. But you'll do it to your own peril. Okay? So does this apply to me in a practical sense? I want to be candid. That's exactly what I'm talking about, is a practical sense. For too long, we've spiritualized everything when we come in to hear the gospel, and we haven't made anything practical. I'm talking entirely about practice, the real you in the real world. Peace with God, easy. Can you believe in Jesus? He hath given us peace with God through our faith in Jesus Christ. Boom, peace with God. No fight. Peace with you. There's going to be some real practical things you have to deal with about yourself. Why won't I deal with them? Why won't I do what I'm supposed to do? Why won't I just stop doing what I'm supposed to stop doing? Why won't I start doing what I need to start doing? Why won't I take care of what's been put in front of me? Why won't I pick my responsibility up when it's right there next to me? Why do I keep ignoring it? Why do I keep brushing under the rug the thing that I ought to pay attention to? Why? And if you're not saying why and you're not wrestling with it, then you're the one getting cheated. And then everyone that trusts the encounter they have with you eventually gets cheated as well. And it's going to be a lot easier because there's going to be this part of you that goes, let me go. Leave this alone. You don't need to deal with this. And that's what the angel says to Jacob. Let me go. And Jacob goes, I will not let you go. And I will not let you go until, and hear that, I will not let you go until I win. Now, the text says, I'll not let you go till you bless me. But what was the point of wrestling if not the blessing? I'm meeting Esau tomorrow. I need all I can get. You and I are going to fight this out until I get what I need to face Esau. And the angel goes, which is you, by the way. It's you going, let me go. Just leave this alone. You don't need to deal with this. You don't need to think about this. You don't need to acknowledge this. You don't need to confront this. You can make it through life by ignoring. You've ignored it your whole life. Why don't you just keep ignoring it? And you go, not anymore, because I'm tired of being scared of what's over the hill. And so I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. And this is a story of us saying, I demand peace in this area. And if I let you go without getting peace, then I got to start all over again. And I'm not going to do that. I got something on the other side of that hill. It's not going to face the same me. If I got to limp into it, I'm going in on the other side of that hill, ready. Not going to be what I was before. In the practical sense, this is us taking up the part of us that we put in front of the world and saying, if my faith is real and I really believe all of this, then I'm at peace with God. Then I want that to manifest in the real me. I don't want a Christianity that's just about heaven. I want a Christianity that's about putting some heaven in my hell. And so I got to be honest about this area, and I got to be honest about that area. If you just accept and let him go, you don't learn anything. And listen to this. When you learn nothing through whatever you go through in life, you experience the worst possible outcome. I don't care what it is you go through. If you learn nothing, that's the worst possible outcome. If you learn something, at least your tragedy, your adversity, your challenge wasn't in vain. Everything we face, we ought to be walking away having learned something about our own self. And if what I learned about my own self is something I don't like, well, then that's the next part to wrestle with. And go, what am I going to do in the next challenge? Turtle up? Walk away? Get scared? Back into it? Or am I going to face it? I don't know. You do. That's what I have to do. That's what you have to do. That's what we're all doing. 27:28. He said, what's your name? He said, Jacob. He said, your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you struggled with God and with men, and you have prevailed. Listen, Jacob is a heel catcher, a deceiver. Israel is he who contends with God. Here's the beauty. This is where the story turns absolute new creation, beautiful gospel possibilities. When you confront that part of you that needs confronted, there's a new creation on the other side of it. There's a part of you you've never met yet that's in you because the Spirit of the Lord is in you. He can change your name. He can change your identity. You want true transformation? You're going to have to face off with Jacob so you can get your Israel. You have to face off with the stuff that you are so you can see who you could become. If you never pick anything big up, you never know how strong you are. If you never pick up the responsibility of facing tomorrow, you never know what you could have been. You know what the Genesis story is trying to tell us? If you really want to find out what it means to be someone new, face who you are. Because there's always a possibility to change it all. There's always a possibility to walk into a new identity, to walk into a new creation. When we see this in Jesus, what we see is a transformation of the Spirit. And in a practical sense, Jesus squaring off with what goes on around him, allowing what goes on around him to focus him on hearing the voice of his Father so that he can come out on the other side being exactly the son he's supposed to be in the middle of whatever trial that it is. Jesus is human like you and I. How does he succeed in these moments? Because he faces every one of them square on, head on. He walks into a wilderness to be tempted of the devil. He doesn't back in. He doesn't roll in. He doesn't go in sideways. He doesn't run in, run out, run in, run out, run in, run out. Face the devil, don't face the devil, face the devil, don't face. He walks in because when he goes to Gethsemane and he prays and the sweat falls as great drops of blood across his brow. And he says to his Father, Father, if there's any other way to do this, let it be done. That's Jesus wrestling with Jesus. Really? Who else is he going to wrestle with? He's human. And there's a part of him that goes, gosh, could we save him without me dying on a cross? I mean, you know, we hung the universe by just saying the word. Couldn't we just? And he goes, but if not, Father, give me the cup. Listen, watch this. If not, Father, give me the cup. I'll drink it. You're not going to let me go until I get what I came for. See, I could put the cup down, but I'm not going to put the cup down. I'm going to put the cup to my lips because that's what I walked into this garden for. And it's costing me sweat like great drops of blood. But I'm not backing out because the version of me that walks out of this garden dripping with sweat like blood is the version that's going to save the world. And the version of me that walks out of here without drinking the cup is the version that lets all of you and face your hell without any help. And that's not who the Son of God is. And that's the template for us, not you go save the world, but you walk out of that garden a different man than you walked in.